What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back to another video, and today you guys have brought up a pretty interesting idea. I want to react to my first ever 2021 NFL mock draft. So we'll have some of these sprinkled in here when I don't have a video. Obviously, I'm down to pretty much making less than $1 a day, so I just still want to pump out content for you guys, but it's like I don't want to pump out stale content because I could tell y'all ain't vibing with that either. So let's kick into this. Let's enjoy it. Let's go off. And obviously, first off, you can see a change. We had the original background right there. Very entertaining. Obviously, I had my long ass hair because it's during COVID and nothing was open. But yeah, it's interesting to see. This was how long ago was this? This was let's check that out, guys. This was back in May 3rd. So it was over a year ago. And we're gonna see what I got right because I know I got two of the picks right. We'll see if we got anything else, but look at the draft order, man. Isn't this insane? Like unbelievable. So let's just check it out. Let's have a good time and we'll just continue going with it. All right. So starting off with the number one pick, we got it right. We got T Law. But yeah, I mean Jaguars T Law, cool. We already knew that. Like, what do you do? We all knew Trevor Lawrence is gonna be the first pick. It's all down to the draft order. We'll see if anybody fell and was selected by a team later on. But for now, Trevor Lawrence is pretty damn good pickup. And hey, at least I'm 1 for 1, right? Second overall pick, we got Penei Sewell to Washington. And this was actually back when they were the Redskins. Look at that. Very interesting. Actually, wait, I don't know if they did change their logo, right? Yeah, they changed it to a W. But it's honestly, I wouldn't have minded them doing that given the fact that Cornelius Lucas is on a 1-year contract, even though again, we didn't even know if Cornelius Lucas was good back then. Like, this was before the season even began. The left tackle situation was pretty vacant after Trent Williams left, so this was very interesting. So cool. Obviously, I think that would have been a solid pick if the draft board had fallen that way. But next we got Jamar Chase. So look at that, 2 out of the first 3 picks to the respective teams. That's actually, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. I didn't expect that, but obviously we took the Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow train right there. We didn't even know if Jamar was going to be playing this year, but he didn't, and it still worked out. 4, we got Justin Fields to the Panthers. So turns out, inside information told me that Justin Fields was never going to be a Carolina Panther. He was definitely not on their target list. So it was really just Zach Wilson, or else they're going to go J.C. Horn. Pretty interesting stuff, right? But yeah, Justin Fields. Obviously, we knew before they got Sam Darnold that they were desperate for a quarterback. Obviously, it turned out the way that they probably wanted it to, which was not with Justin Fields. Gregory Rousseau to the Jets, though. Obviously, this was something I would probably mock in like the second round now, but we all thought Gregory Rousseau was gonna have a big year, opted out, and then tested pretty poorly, but still made it into the first round. Gonna be moving to, I believe, interior defensive line. That's what I heard from my sources. But obviously, we saw him go edge, I believe, sometime during the draft. I'm like trying to remember what the picks were. Obviously, they went AVT and Zach Wilson with their first couple picks, but you look at that, guys. We had Jamie Newman and Dylan Moses in the first. Like, look at that. This is just insane. But I mean, look at that. I mean, TDN had Kyle Pitts pretty high at the start of the year, so I'm pretty happy about that. But Gregory Rousseau would be definitely an interesting guy in Robert Saleh's scheme. We'll see what the Giants did. They got Jalen Waddle, so this was something that was mocked for a very long time to the Giants. Obviously, he actually went at number 6 overall, so I guess we got part of the pick right. So we'll give myself half a point. We're at 2.5 points right now. But that it made sense at the time. Jalen Waddle's a beast. I'm glad I put him over Devontae Smith, which I don't know where he is on the list, but I think he was down like 14 or something. But I mean, I thought he was an electric weapon. I think I got some shit for it too. That's funny. But it's yeah, I mean, I'm pretty proud of that pick. Next we got Shaun Wade. Again, this was when Shaun Wade was the biggest impact maker in that college football, I believe it was Sugar Bowl, when he got knocked out for targeting. Like there was a big impact that was just lost there. And he transitioned to boundary corner, totally messed up. Now he's on the Ravens, but I mean, shoot, I thought the Lions should have scooped him up and just put him back at slot. You have him and Jeffrey Okudah again. Don't really know why they had to go back to back interior defensive line, but I mean, the Lions have a plan. So next we got Creed Humphrey to the Dolphins. So I actually continued mocking a center to the Dolphins for the entire time because I didn't believe in Ted Karras. And then obviously now you guys don't even have Ted Karras, and we're not even going to talk about who you guys do have. But Creed Humphrey would have been a really good target. I think that they're just fine with Matt Skura. So there you go. The man who should not be named was just named, but it's okay. It's okay. So with the next pick, we got Javon Holland. Look at that, guys. Look at that. So 3.5 points right there. Got Javon Holland to the Dolphins. Ain't that crazy? Wow. I'm realizing that I actually did a pretty good job predicting these, but obviously not in the same round. But Javon Holland, I still I honestly don't agree with the pick. Trevon Merrick was on the board and he was really good. And Javon Holland's more of like a corner safety hybrid, and they have enough corners on the roster if we're gonna be honest. So just weird to me. Number 10, we'll see what happens here. We got Micah. So this was a pick for a very, very long time. Like this was everybody's ideal situation. Obviously, Sertan was still up there. Didn't take him, but I mean, this was before obviously all this shit came out about Micah Parsons having personality issues, opting out. Ugh, I was just so happy to think about what Vic Fangio could do with Micah Parsons. It just would have been so cool. With the next pick, we got Patrick Surtain going to the Falcons, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded that at all. Him, Isaiah Oliver, you look at AJ Terrell there, that could have been a pretty damn good corner group. But we're gonna see them probably address it in this coming draft. So the need still stays. With the next slot, we got the Cardinals, and they select Kyle Pitts. So obviously that didn't happen, given the fact that the Falcons almost took Kyle Pitts right there, funnily enough. But Kyle Pitts on the Cardinals would have been something special, right? Obviously, technically, he could have gotten a little bit right with their first pick being obviously their first pick was Zayvon Collins, but they decided to go after a weapon with Rondale Moore, who is I think up in here in the first round territory. But Kyle Pitts is just a beast. Obviously, he went way higher than this, and deservedly so. So the next two picks, we got Walker Little to the Bears. See, remember, Walker Little was a very high pick now on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So didn't get that one. Marvin Wilson as well. Didn't even get drafted. But, I think that, if this happened, obviously, like if these guys were selected by these respective teams, I still think they would have been really good picks. The Bears solved their issue with going after Tevin Jenkins, right? And then, there's Darius Stills that went to the Raiders. So they did get those positions respectively, but, missed a couple shots right there. Very interesting. Obviously, now that we know how they developed, it kind of sucks. Then the Browns got Dylan Moses. So technically, I got a similar pick right with JOK being a linebacker to them. But I mean, what? We're gonna go down the list right here. I'm gonna give myself still 3.5 points. Dylan Moses. Oh, it's painful. UDFA on the Jaguars. It just really kind of hurts to know that Dylan Moses just really can't stay healthy. But I hope that he does, and I hope Jacksonville can just continue like dominating the way they normally do. Boogie Basham to the Titans. We all knew that they needed edge help, and they tried to address that in free agency with Bud Dupree. So cool. I think they got Rashad Weaver as well. So good on them, right? But obviously Boogie Basham going to the Bills, which I thought was an amazing fit. It was just interesting to see how these guys just kind of dropped. But there you go. There's a fourth. The fourth pick I guessed correctly is Travis Etienne to the Jaguars. I like it. I love it. Obviously this was before James Robinson came out. I just don't think Etienne was worth that first round pick. You could have taken him with that early second, and then taken a guy like Elijah Moore with the 25th pick. But I mean, Etienne's great, so I'm not gonna bug on it too much. But I'm surprised I got four of like the team's picks actually corrected this time. Next, oh my goodness, Xavier Thomas, you sneaky little bastard. We thought that he was gonna have such a big jump, and I thought that he fits perfectly on the Vikings, but he just didn't. I don't even know if he played this last year, and if he did, I hope to God he opted out because he definitely didn't start. So that's a really really rough year for Xavier Thomas, who definitely had so much potential. He's pretty much Jason Owe without the talent. That's the bottom line of it. Chargers, we'll see what you guys got. I'm interested to see White Davis. So This was back when Wyatt Davis, see, he's still developmental right now. He could take that leap in the next year, but he was developmental. He's Ohio State guard, really good at run blocking. Their left tackle situation was kind of fucked, but based on the draft board, there was not really a better option than Wyatt Davis. So at the time, it's a pretty good pick. Obviously, Rashawn Slater could be filling one of those holes. I don't think he will. I think he'll play left tackle for him. He's athletic as hell. I hope his arm length doesn't get in the way. Well, his usage of his arm length doesn't get in the way. And number 20, I think the Steelers, did we draft a quarterback here? Oh my God. I already know some of y'all would love this pick, Jamie Newman. So I know Brochmo would also love Jamie Newman to the Steelers. It just, I'm very happy that did not happen. So obviously, we had just drafted a couple running backs. We drafted Anthony McFarland, and then obviously we had Benny Snell there. So it was like, oh, those two could actually flourish now that Le'Veon Bell is gone. Didn't happen. Obviously, if you're looking at the board, look at that. Jalen Twyman was in the first. That's insane. Ran like a 5.40. And speaking of a guy who's going to be pretty big next year, hopefully Justin Ross. But the Steelers getting a quarterback is an interesting idea back at that time where it was like, okay, well, Ben's still on his last legs. We don't really have much else. Might as well restart. Then we lost our entire offensive line. So, whoop-de-doo. With the next pick, we got the Colts going Paulson Adebo. So, I still would have been a huge fan of this in the draft. You guys saw I've been doing Paulson Adebo ever since this first mock draft. It's very interesting because, they totally butchered the idea of being able to draft a guy Paulson Adebo in the second. Really irritates me that they went after Deo Odeingbo. It perplexes me because cornerback could have been something they could have went after as well. Not to mention left tackle. At the next spot, we got the Patriots going Devontae Smith. So, hey, that would have been great, right? I think he still fits what the Patriots would have wanted to run. He's the Slim Reaper, and I mean, obviously, the Patriots would have loved. Would have loved to have Devontae Smith. By the way, look at Chuba Hubbard and Hamza up here. Isn't that wonderful? Gotta love when players just drop so far. Next, we got Trey Smith. Obviously, if he didn't have the heart issues, he could have been a little bit higher than Wyatt Davis. The more I studied him, the less I really loved him. He had some moments where it was just unbelievable, but it was just too much inconsistency for me. But Trey Smith on the Bills would have been great at the time. Obviously, they brought back pretty much their entire offensive line in free agency. That's why all the mock drafts really don't fully make sense. I know Cheeseheads fans loved this pick. This was like the one pick where I started getting some subs from Packers fans. Justin Ross. Obviously, we know what happened. It's really sad to hear about the spinal surgery that he had to get, but hopefully he returns to form this year with DJ Uiagalelei. So I'm fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed he can do that because he is an excellent, excellent talent. I'm honestly quite surprised that Brevin Jordan's here in the first. Also, Seth Williams, right? Next, we got the next two picks, Josh Myers. So I predicted that getting an interior offensive lineman, especially a center, is kind of the future of the Eagles. So I'm going to give myself a half point. We're at 5 points right there. But, it's pretty interesting that Josh Myers was above other guys like Landon Dickerson at the time. But again, Ohio State's offensive line was unbelievable. Next, we got Sam Cosmi. It's super athletic tackle. And I'm pretty sure the Ravens, not the Ravens, the Seahawks, they got Stone Forsythe later on, which unbelievable steal. Had literally a late second on the guy. They got him in the 7th. Ridiculous. Then we got the Bucs going Brock Purdy in the first. Obviously, they went after a quarterback in the second. So we could give myself a half a point right there. We'll give myself 5.5 for that because, of course, they went after a quarterback in literally the next round. Brock Purdy was supposed to make that huge jump. He had like a 90 PFF year, and he was just supposed to continue rolling with that with Breece Hall. Didn't happen. Next, we got the Cowboys going Hamza. Obviously, I believe this was the pick where I got in an argument with Camel Wolf. So there's the OG to Camel Wolf right there. They needed safety at the time. They still kind of do need safety because they got a bunch of guys on 1-year deals. But hey, Hamza and Nasir Dean. It's sad that he fell so far, but he's a monster. 6'4" on the Jets now, if I'm not mistaken. So, hopefully he has a good career there. And staying in the same division that he is in right now, Chuba Hubbard going to the Saints. Obviously, that didn't happen. But, he's on the Panthers now. Very, very good pickup by them. The Saints, we didn't know about Marshawn Lattimore issues and getting rid of Trey Hendrickson, so can't really say too much about that. So good job to the Saints. Obviously, at the time, made kind of sense. Then, oh man, the fact that he went higher than this, almost half as high as this, is ridiculous. But Alex Leatherwood to the Niners, who I thought he could play tackle or guard at a very, very high level. And a lot of people had Leatherwood as their number one lineman. I'm going to have to relook at Leatherwood. I'm going to be honest. There was no way in hell that made sense to me. But hey, it is what it is. By the way, guys, there's a round two. So we're going to be clicking into that as well, just because I'm not going to split it up into two videos. You guys wouldn't watch the second part, and I might as well just make this fun for you. So next we got Brevin Jordan. I still thought this was a great pick in the second round. I'm actually quite surprised by how well I did with my first mock draft. But going off with the next one, I actually don't know. Oh, okay, very interesting. So I don't know if I think we went Eric Stokes with this pick, which surprising enough. I'm not sure if we did a second round, but if we did, I'm gonna link it here. But if not, y'all know the outro. So we'll see if you guys will be with me on the far side. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, y'all. Y'all already know. I was about to do a damn intro again, but I did find it. We did have a second round. So I actually didn't even put a description on this video, but as you can see, it was another day, another dollar. You know that we're going to be getting back into those weekly mock drafts during the season, but we are going to be having a shit ton of fun, especially when TDN gets out there, 2022 stuff. And guys, of course, join the Discord if you haven't already. It is a fun ass community. I'm pretty sure we got up to like 110 there now. So please keep added to that because it's awesome. It's a great community. You don't even have to deal with me. If you don't like me, don't deal with me, but deal with them because we have a great community. It's not very toxic over there. We have people who just mess around with each other. It's a really, really good community. So definitely check that out. Check out all the other links as well for more shit. So next we got the Jaguars on the board. We're going to see what we did with them because this is going to be an interesting one. I know that we're looking at Andre. Oh, don't tell me that we got Andre Cisco. Oh, for fuck's sake. We almost guessed Andre Cisco right. Seth Williams. I'm forgetting what team Seth Williams went to, but obviously I know he went really late, and I'm like trying to like low key look for my phone right now. Honestly, guys, we're gonna look this up together. How about that? We're gonna squad up. So obviously Seth Williams. I forgot what team he's on right now. He's on the Broncos, right? I thought he was like, oh, because I remember Bershman was like, he's coming for Cortland Sutton's job. Isn't that insane? I have Seth Williams still as a late third, but I guess teams just didn't believe in him. I thought it was crazy for putting him late third because some people were just going off with how good he was. The next pick, we got Pat Freiermuth. Obviously, I'm going to give myself a half point because we all knew the Washington football team, now formerly Washington Redskins, wanted to be able to address that tight end position at a relatively high pick, especially given the guy that they did draft. So I'm going to give myself a nice little, I believe, 6 points now. And I was so surprised I got so close to pulling the trigger on Andre Cisco. It's like I'm just hoping that I do it right. Jackson Carman wow. Yo, I didn't believe this. Wow. I've aced the Bengals draft so far. With the first and second round picks. So that's a 7 right there. I'm pretty ecstatic about that. Obviously, Carman, really young, extremely developmental, very excited to see how he can do in the NFL. Don't have that high of hope for him, but again, I always hope the best for these guys. Next, we got Nick Bolton to the Carolina Panthers. And okay, cool. I think that they kind of butchered some of their picks in the draft. They were very hot or cold. They got some great picks and some terrible picks. Obviously, the first one I was a little bit lukewarm on just because I believe in JC Horn. Just, I don't know, eighth overall JC Horn. But Nick Bolton, really, really good player. He went to the Chiefs, which is literally the dream fit for him. So good for him. Next, we got Cade Mays out of Tennessee. So we went guard. So I'm going to give myself a half point there for 7.5 out of, 37 picks, which is pretty damn good rate for guessing it over a year before, or about a year before it happened. But, obviously, Cade Mays is going to be in this draft. He could definitely be around the second round pick territory. Cade Mays is a really talented player. I'm excited to see if he develops again because he has another year to develop. So fingers crossed because I love Tennessee. That's my thing. I hate Garantano though. So fun fact. I hope the best for Cade Mays. And number 38, we got the Giants on the board, and they selected Aiden Hutchinson, another guy who's going to be coming out this year, another guy who could be a target for the Giants. If let's just say the Bears do really well, it could be, excuse me, a target that they go after later on. I believe that they might have gotten Ellerson Smith, if I'm not mistaken, which I love Ellerson Smith, but Aiden Hutchinson is definitely really talented, so I'm not going to hate on him too much. Then the Lions go Joseph Asai. At the time, I thought this was a good pick. They were on a 4-3, so my bad. He fits a 3-4, and he's on the Bengals who run a 4-3. Don't know how they're going to use him at all, but I think they're just like, dude, we might as well use him as a sub package guy because the value is unbelievable. Switch to a hybrid front maybe. So cheers. Next we got Rondale Moore. This was a pick that was up in the air during. I mean, I thought it was crazy for putting Rondale Moore at this point of the draft, but this was definitely a pick that was up for consideration, for a long time, even the final mock draft, like round 2, it's like, oh shit, what do I do? So, hey, Rondale Moore, that's a pretty good prediction right there. He actually went around this spot. And then Alaric Jackson, son of a bitch. He had a really, really poor post draft in the year of, like, he had a really bad year. Obviously, he got destroyed. Obviously, he was the bookend tackle on the other side to Tristan Wirfs, but he definitely didn't look nearly as good, hence why he was here at 41. But Iowa creates really good linemen, and I think Alaric Jackson, wherever he is, I think he was UDFA, will be able to have actually a pretty good career as a guard. He has potential. He just needs to grow and he needs to develop. Probably not going to get there with having to play an actual tackle spot immediately. So again, UDFA makes 100% sense for me. Christian Barmore to the Broncos. This makes a ton of sense. I think I did this before as well. Barmore to the Broncos is a really good pick. Obviously, didn't happen. They went after Javonte Williams, who isn't even on this board. So crazy state. You got Zamir White up here, Richard LeCount as a first-round prospect. There's definitely some guys who I missed on, like Alaric Jackson, but I'm pretty proud of what I've done so far. Next, oh, there you go. I love Max Borghi. He's now like a glorified slot wide receiver at running back, like a James White type, but he was so good. I mean, he just has a weird it factor. And I hope the best for him this year because I'm pretty sure they just got a new quarterback. I'm forgetting who. I think it might have been Bentley. No, I don't know. But they have a new quarterback there, so I'm excited to see how they use Borghi in a newer offense or just the same offense, but a little bit better. Then we got Quincy Roche, who went to the Steelers in the 7th round. Unbelievable value, which I'm perfectly happy for the Steelers to get that. But, obviously we knew that they needed to address edge. They did that in the offseason with J.J. Watt. Doesn't really fit the J.J. Watt role, though. He's a little bit small, but, we're not going to give myself any points for that just because of the fact that he doesn't fit at all. Andre Cisco to the Bears. Wow. That'd be interesting. That would definitely be weird because I think he'd play the same role as an Eddie Jackson at free, but very intriguing idea. I was hoping that he'd fall and then randomly get picked up by the Jaguars somewhere. I don't know if the Jaguars had a second pick in this, but I think that because the Rams had they should have had a second pick, but whatever. Regardless, we got the Raiders' second round pick, technically right position wise. So safety, I'm gonna give myself half point there. I believe it's like 7.5 at this point. So woo. So good job to me, but Richard LeCount really kind of bummed out. Don't know where he went actually. So I'm excited to look at that after this because I'm not going to bring you guys on another train to look at it, guys. Jalen Twyman going to the Browns. I kept mocking interior defensive line like the first and stuff. They decided to wait till like the 4th for Tommy Togiai, which great value. And then obviously Marvin Wilson's now on the roster too. So good job by the Browns, but I'm not going to give myself any kudos for that. Matt Bushman. Ooh. Ho, ho, ho. Wow. Okay. Matt Bushman to the Titans. Could happen this year. Could. Because they definitely still need a tight end, but very intriguing. Matt Bushman's old as hell, so he's probably going to be like a 6th round pick, but he was the lifeblood of that offense. So good for him. I don't know. Actually, he might have come out this year. You guys have to remind me on that. I believe he did. Did Matt Bushman get drafted? This is something I'll waste y'all's time with. Matt Bushman. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh my god, I mistyped it. So we'll go Matt Bushman here, and we'll see where he's at right now. Of course, doesn't say anything, but I don't know if he's actually taken. Very interesting. latches on in Las Vegas. Okay, there you go. He's in Vegas now. So obviously that didn't work out the way I thought it would. I thought he was going to come out this year for some reason, but he's like ancient. So I was like, maybe he came out, but whatever. Thayer Mumford going to the Rams. Obviously he's going to be coming out this year as a super senior. Thought he should have probably come out this year. I just didn't think there was that great of, honestly, there was that much tackle talent except for depth. I thought Thayer Mumford could have had a really good offseason, but the Rams needed it. I don't know if the Rams like fully addressed that position. They definitely didn't do that good of a job of it. I'll put it that way. They went to Atwell in the first, which just drives me insane. Next, we got Rashad Bateman to the Vikings. This is before we knew how good Justin Jefferson was, but maybe Rashad Bateman could have played that slot role or boundary. You want to use Justin Jefferson in the other role, which would have been pretty damn spectacular. Next at 51, we got the Chargers. What do y'all do? Daniel Phil. Oh man, another guy coming out this year. Well, I'm gonna give myself half a point right there for about 8 points because we went after Rashawn Slater in the first. But Daniel Fail is a beast. Obviously, I wanted him to fall to my Steelers, but just didn't happen. So Steelers went Liam Eichenberg, which I was trying to mock in the first. Obviously, doesn't fit what the Steelers were looking for size wise, but I would have loved it. I love Liam Eichenberg so much. Next, we got Tyler Shelvin, and the more I think about this, it's like, yeah, they have a hole now with Danico Autry there, but at the time you got Danico Autry, you also have DeForest Buckner. Not really the best case scenario for me trying to say that I actually know something about the draft. Now we got Caden Stearns to the Patriots. Very interesting. Speaking of another guy who I want to see where he went, but Caden Stearns, he just didn't have a really good season this year. He needs to be put on a team that knows how to use him. So hopefully that did happen. I'll check it after, but very intriguing. Tyson Campbell to the Bills. So obviously he doesn't fit because he's more of his zone. He's more of a man corner in his own scheme. But man, that would have been fun. That's all I gotta say. That would have been very fun. With the next pick, we got okay, we got a couple picks here. Spoiled it, but we got Darian Kendrick, who stupidly did not come out this year. And Asante Samuel Jr. to the Eagles, which personally I thought would have happened, but it did not. ASJ actually went around this pick. I think no, he actually went 10 picks before this at 47. But Packers did go corner. I'm gonna give myself half a point for that for 8. So I've gotten about essentially 8 picks right. So Asante Samuel Jr. I'm honestly surprised the Eagles didn't select him. That's just something that's weird to me. Caleb Farley, we had a run on corners right here. Caleb Farley to the Seahawks, which would have been great if he fell that far. Obviously went to the Titans. Did not need to do that, and the Seahawks had a really good draft, by the way, with their 3 picks. Next, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown, ARSB to the Buccaneers. Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I think they went Jalen Darden in like the 3rd or 4th, but I'm not going to give myself any kudos for that one. Next, we had Charles Snowden to the Cowboys. He went to the Bears, actually, but this was back when I had him as a first-round guy. Fun fact, I had him as a top 32 player. Next, we had Gayo Tiote, another guy coming out this year, has some potential, just sometimes it's overhyped, sometimes it's underrated. I think he's around 3, round 4 guy. So we'll see where he lands after that. Obviously, we did actually see them go linebacker there, so I will give myself another half of a pick correct at 8.5. Then we got the San Francisco 49ers going Paris Ford. Wow, did he fall off the face of the earth? But would have been a good pick if he had not run a 4.9. Sage Surratt. Oh God, I was actually pretty low on Sage Surratt, but we put him on the Ravens, and they need to go after a big receiver. They went after Rashad Bateman, who's not that big, but can give myself that half point as well for that 9.5. And we'll see what we selected right here. I think did we go Najee? No way. There's no way that we went Najee here. That's unbelievable if we did. We went Najee to the Chiefs after going CEH. So that would have been fun. Obviously, using him in RBBC role would have probably lengthened his career, but we obviously saw he went literally 40 picks before. But that was really fun, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it because I certainly did. I'll see you on the far side. Peace.